After the wave of sightings in the 90s, from 2000 onwards, the activity of the mysterious flying spheres has continued. Witnesses with cameras and video cameras have continued to record them. Are they extraterrestrial probes? Are we close to contact? An answer could come from the study of the material available to us. An answer that could change our vision of the cosmos and of ourselves. The flying spheres, an enigma that leads us into the future. The photographic and filmed evidence on the spheres shows that they can operate in any environment. The documentation from 2000 onwards provides further undeniable evidence. Often, the spheres are seen close to aircraft routes. These photographs taken by the vigilantes Fausto Avaroa and Arturo Robes Gil in Mexico City are an example. Video cameras were also able to record the facts. We can see it in this video by Arturo Robles Gil in Mexico City. In the film, we can clearly see that the flying spheres are not balloons released into the air. In fact, they are not affected at all by the strong turbulence caused by the passing planes.
Del año 2000 al 2008 han pasado 8 años y lo que sí he notado.
From 2000 to 2008, already 8 years have passed. I noticed that as time passes by, I've been filming entities and crafts that not only are amazing,
No solo extraordinarias, sino que nos llevan a una enorme reflexión.
but even lead the whole humanity and myself to deeply reflect and question us. Are we visited? Are any beings coming from the stars visiting us?
The deliberate movement of these spherical flying objects is clear from these extraordinary images. We can see a metallic sphere slow down and almost stop to let a plane that was crossing its route pass by. Once the plane has passed, the sphere once again starts to move in a more jerky way. These continual changes in speed almost seem to be a demonstration for the benefit of Gil's camera. In this other video by Arturo Robles Gil, we can see another example of the incredible technical skill of the spheres. At times, the spheres follow the planes. The dynamics of the film seem to indicate that the people on board don't realize what is happening. The people who study these phenomena don't really know what these spheres are, what they're for, or who made them. But it is obvious that whoever it is, they are increasingly less interested in hiding them.
Estas gentes, sean las que sean, están viniendo.
I think that these beings, whoever they are, show themselves all the time. We often see them.
Eso nos está enseñando.
This is probably because they are teaching us to become accustomed to their presence, not to be afraid.
Al contrario, yo creo que están dejando ver para.
On the contrary, I believe that they show themselves so that soon, perhaps quite soon,
En no mucho tiempo se haga un contacto.
there will be a direct contact and they will be able to show themselves more clearly.
As we can see from the images, at times the objects are bright and luminous, at other times they are metallic and opaque. This is clear evidence of their multiform nature. The manifestation of a technology that is still beyond our understanding. These photos, taken in Mexico, show a group of metallic spheres in flight. They are amongst the clearest pictures ever taken. The author is the engineer Franklin Rojas. and the photos were taken in 2006. The similarity with the spheres photographed by the Hispanic-American contactee Paul Villa in New Mexico in 1966 is extraordinary. Curiously, exactly 40 years have passed between the two series of photos. The movement of this sphere is another clear example of the ease with which they maneuver in flight. It's difficult to say that the object is a balloon. The difference in the movement is obvious. Its flight is controlled and not caused by the wind. When it stops almost completely, it's even more difficult to say that. When it's filmed at the same time as balloons, the difference is even more evident. Salvador Guerrero has been a vigilante for many years, and he is the author of numerous very important films, which are now part of the history of the UFO phenomenon.
Y es una satisfacción.
Why do I enjoy it? Not because I want to be the best, but one of the many people who have proof of the UFO phenomenon,
Que está la expectativa.
who are waiting for the UFO to show themselves. There are people who film birds, who film hurricanes, and people who film UFO, unidentified objects.
Often the spheres appear in formations, sometimes numerous, and it was Salvador Guerrero who filmed this document, 6 spheres in a J shape flying over Mexico City.
When I come across these objects, it is very exciting for me to be able to film them. Not only to talk about them, but to be able to record them on video using modern technology.
On June the 24th, 2005, in the town of Jalapa, in the Veracruz region of Mexico, the governor, Don Fidel Herrera Beltran, is about to take part in an official ceremony. Policemen, journalists, and the public are all present. Suddenly, above them, they see the spheres of light. The governor also sees them and shouts, "It's the Martians!" Certainly, amongst the phenomena linked to the spheres, one of the most spectacular is the flotillas. The films by Arturo Robles Gil are undeniable evidence. In his video taken on the 21st of September 2007, the presence of clouds and the zoomed images give even more the perception of the background where the incredible sighting is taking place. The formations continue to appear. There are more and more of them, and they are increasingly frequent. Hill carries on filming in a punctual and constant way, thus proving that the phenomenon is continuous. This event is now evident in various parts of the world. Italy is also overflown by these fascinating squadrons of flying spheres. One of the most prolific authors of films is the Tuscan Antonio Urzi, who from a young age seemed to be under the attention of these mysterious means of non-terrestrial aviation. Urzi has shot many films of flying saucers, but his exceptional video repertoire also contains spheres and flotillas. A contactee case that is attracting the attention of the main researchers and international media. These are a few images of flotillas that Uzzi filmed in Italy. But the most striking video that he caught was on the 4th of September 2009 in downtown Milan near the famous Alla Scala theatre. He sighted a not-so-large flotilla flying over the buildings. Despite many people passing by, no one really looked up or stopped by to see what was happening. Fortunately, after a few minutes, a cameraman of Rai region Lombardy passed by. Antonio managed to grab his attention, so the exceptional event was also filmed by the professional camera of the Rai operator.
C'è la flotilla, filmo con la telecamera. Corri, vieni qua, ci sono tutte le sfere come in Messico. Vai laggiù sul punto là. Corri. Vedi? Ce la fai a vedere?
It was peculiar and self-explanatory, the fact that a girl stooped to pass below the camera operator without showing the slightest interest in the event happening. Antonio eventually also shot the street where the event occurred. The contactees have often said that the flying spheres are remote-controlled survey probes that also have controls and monitoring equipment for flying saucers.
El fenómeno de las esferas es
The phenomenon of spheres is strictly connected with the unidentified flying objects.
tenemos videos, incluso en Italia, Antonio Ursi,
In Italy, Antonio Uzzi filmed unidentified flying objects,
donde pueden ver esferas
in which we can see spheres alongside these spaceships.
In the film that Uzzi took on December the 3rd, 2008, at a certain point, we can clearly see these spheres alongside what is obviously a flying saucer. It's a dark color, which makes us think it must be metallic. It's not the first time that Uzzi has recorded this phenomenon. In June 2004, he filmed a sphere near a silvery disc. Uzzi has also filmed single flying spheres. In February 2009, Uzzi went to Nevada, to the town of Laughlin, as guest of an international UFO congress. An event that lasts an entire week and that every year brings together the leading world experts on UFOs and related phenomena. On the morning of the 27th of February, Antonio and his wife Simona sighted and filmed a white sphere flying right above the convention center where the Congress was taking place. It is a rather rare occurrence that these objects show themselves in places where there are events dedicated to them.
È fermo, eh? Guarda l'oggetto. È andato via subito. Perché no... Sì.
But Uzzi's contact experience is so exceptional that the happening took place again a few months later. In June 2009, in fact, Antonio was in Istanbul, Turkey, again as guest of an international UFO congress. During the event, he sighted a large sphere of light and started filming. His cries attracted many people from the audience that were listening to the speakers of the congress. Thus, dozens of people witnessed Uzzi's sighting. This fact had such a large impact that it attracted the attention of Turkish media, who made many reports of the event. Before Turkey, Antonio had already shot other films of flying spheres. This video was taken on May the 24th, 2009. The sphere is flying over the blocks of flats in Cinisello, Balsamo. Just when it goes out of sight, Antonio, his wife Simona, and her little sister run to another window of the flat to be able to observe it a little longer.
Questo è bello, eh? Hai visto roba?
L'ho preso.
Ötzi follows the sphere until it disappears into the distance.
Faccio il frame la differenza con l'aereo.
The next images of an airplane show the obvious difference between the two vehicles. In July 2009, Ötzi was in Argentina for a series of conferences. During a visit to Capilla del Monte, an area where UFOs are often seen, he filmed this sphere with unusual characteristics.
È una palla grandissima, bella. Guarda.
Ah, ce l'ho visto.
Bueno.
His wife Simona and other friends are with him. The film becomes even more interesting when the sphere goes behind the bushes. At the end of the video, Ötzi also films the other witnesses.
Mira.
Detrás del árbol.
Mira dietro, Simo, è fantastico. No, è muy linda, eh? È una palla grossa, enorme, eh? Vedi? Los testigos.
Once, Ötzi came back to Italy on July the 20th, 2009, during a visit to his family in Toscana. He films again a flying sphere overflying the skies.
Hemos observado también, por ejemplo, cuando hay flotillas, cuando hay...
We also observed that in flotillas with hundreds or thousands of objects, when they are very close one to each other, they move in a swinging way, as if connected by a magnetic force.
Hemos observado las esferas.
We've seen these spheres moving forward, thousands of them, all at the same time and following the same direction. We sighted them going into the clouds.
En nubes, dentro de una nube. Las hemos observado, pues realmente incluso, de acuerdo al testimonio de...
According to several witnesses, they've been sighted even inside homes.
Todo ello me hace pensar.
All this makes me think about it as a phenomenon to investigate.
Me parece a mí que no son tripuladas.
It seems to me that these spheres have no pilot on board. I believe they are used sometimes individually, sometimes in groups, to make observations and specific investigations. The appearance of the EBANES, which is the Spanish acronym of Unidentified Aerial Biological Entities, the incredible snake-like flying objects, has complicated the incredible phenomenon of flying spheres even further. The first sightings date from the 90s. Since the year 2000, they have continued to appear, giving the scholars a really difficult problem to solve and, above all,
to accept. In fact, the phenomenon is completely beyond our recognized parameters for aircraft technology. With the Abanis, the boundaries between biological nature and technological nature seem to blend.
Tiene un comportamiento como el de un ser vivo.
Which is to say that it behaves as if it were a living being.
Se mueven de manera orgánica.
These Abanis move as if they were enormous worms in an organic way. There are some really exceptional films of these objects.
In August 2007, Arturo Robles Hill filmed a spectacular Ebani as it emitted the spheres. As the object moves into the clouds, we can see how high it is, and consequently, just how huge it is. An Ebani of the same color was filmed again in Mexico by Vianney Lopez on the 4th of October 2009 in the city of Guadalajara. You can clearly outline the Ebani moving within the clouds. Hill too has filmed these serpent-shaped objects literally entering inside the clouds. In this film, dated the 5th of August 2007, there are even 2 Ebanis. Once again, on November the 17th, 2008, Hill filmed another Ebani emitting spheres. This time, the apparatus is an irregular shape, and it clearly shows the polyhedric and multiform nature of these flying biological entities. These films suggest that the Ebanis are a sort of aircraft carrier that transports the spheres.
Pienso que estos cuerpos enormes de gusanos.
I think that these enormous bodies, like snakes, are the way in which the spheres are transported and moved around.
Es mucho más fácil poder mover a un centenar o.
It's much easier to move hundreds or thousands of spheres in a solid, closed body rather than individually.
Entonces, yo pienso que.
So, I think that the Ebanis are the origin of the phenomenon of the flotillas and of the flying spheres themselves.
Often, the Ebanis are accompanied by just one sphere, that the researchers call the century.
En diferentes ocasiones han sido grabadas juntas.
In several occasions, the Ebanis and spheres have been filmed together, and we also observed that in many cases they are accompanied by a great sphere, a royal craft, that's always there. I don't know why, but we can see it in many videos.
At other times, they appear together with the flotillas, as we can see in this Mexican film from 2007. We can see the phenomena progressively taking shape in this film by the Mexican Octavio Fernandez. Octavio also filmed these Ebanis in various colors. Together with Hill's footage, the Ebanis filmed by Fernandez are among the most numerous in the world. At times, the Ebanis, like the spheres, cross the routes of aircraft.
Abro mi toma. Mira, el avión pasó cerca. ¿Te diste cuenta? Más al frente.
Considering the incredulity and the amazement of the researchers themselves, it is understandable that the public thinks of the Ebanis as balloons floating through the air. Everything we've seen about the flying spheres already seems complex and incredible. But in May 2009, the Mexican skywatcher Alfredo Carrillo filmed a phenomenon that has never been seen before. All the objects are dark-colored. The witness is filming against the sun. But there are more surprises to come. The event is also being filmed at the same time by another witness, the Mexican Pedro Hernandez. Initially, Hernandez, just when he's filming an aircraft flying past, sees the same flying object that Carrillo has filmed, but with the sunlight at his back. So the objects are illuminated, and the video gives a better image of the spheres than we've ever seen before. Probably Hernandez is closer to the phenomenon he is filming. The object starts to slow its spinning motion, and then the incredible scene continues. Slowly, a flotilla begins to form. When the film ends, Hernandez comments on the incredible scene he's just witnessed.
Aquí atrás de mí.
Here behind me there were UFOs moving around, really beautiful. They were yellow, they were really beautiful, and they were here, just behind me.
Comparing the two videos of Carrillo and Hernandez, we can clearly see that it really is the same phenomenon. The statements by witnesses, the investigations, the exceptional images leave little room for theories of fraud, mass hallucinations, or pranks. It is really difficult to think that the spheres are not real or the result of intelligent life.
Las esferas son un fenómeno inteligente, no me cabe la menor duda. Y nosotros hemos acumulado mucho.
The spheres are an intelligent phenomenon, I have no doubt, and we have accumulated lots of film where we can see this intelligent movement. They are part of a project that is even greater than they are. That's why we should believe that we are dealing with a phenomenon that shows the interest towards and the investigation upon us, human beings.
Perhaps one day, this reality will be accepted by the authorities, or perhaps it will be the phenomenon itself that forces us to accept it without waiting for human decisions. It wouldn't be the first time. In the past, events have changed human history. Will we be taken by surprise this time too?